of this investment forum. Guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I know you're a bit hungry, but don't worry, I'm going to be very brief. You think politicians speak for so long. Me, I'll be quite brief. Allow me to start my submission with the question on rental income that you are talking. Actually, you are talking about property rates. The reason as to why property rates were put up in the history of taxation was on the basis that land was owned by the state. And that because the state offered you land, in return you erected a property, therefore you had to give it something. Now, Uganda has a peculiar land tenure system where land is owned in perpetuity. Land belongs to the people. As to whether property rates still make any sense, I still have a bitter fight with my colleagues who didn't understand this. Because initially, property rates were to be collected in cities. And the city what we were talking about was Kampala, primarily the central, where there was the crown land. The crown lease. Ordinarily that was owned by the Queen, where people acquired leases from the city authorities, and in return, they would pay what we call a property tax. Now, it was changed to anything commercial. But listen, taxes is not a mere, coming up with words because you've had it's a stream of collection of taxes from other countries, and then you use it. But let's talk about the tax that ought to be collected. It should be rental income tax. That you own properties in which business is run through collection of rent from tenants, and a proportion of that rent can be, after all expenditures, are deducted, then part of that can be given to the state. Now, my proposal, I don't want to sound, when I was in Parliament, my proposal was a blanket 5%. My colleagues objected, and they went with what you have, it's near about 30%. It's terrible because that is the profit of the man in church. He wants to go with his 100%, then they come there and also scoop off another 30%. But the issue I want to say is that the rental income tax should be a fraction of the rate of inflation in the country. It should reflect that. Otherwise, then it becomes deterrent. But we shall talk about that. You understand? I don't know whether Bwana Posa understands what I'm saying. Or he walked out. Now, for me, I would like to address these topics in the most simple way. How we might create synergies between businesses for you that are Ugandans or non-Ugandans, or those that love Uganda, but you're based in the diaspora, and we that are that side. So we must believe in the quid pro quo way, that it comes two way. We are not here to seek for investments, but we are also here to seek for investment opportunities here. What I'm saying, we Ugandans should also be able to fight for the pound here. And at least I'm one of those ones who come here specifically to compete here. I don't want to be seen as someone who comes here to say, "Mujemu to work all the time." Come with something. That is why someone was saying, now, what is the best? Should I be a foreign investor? Because there is that mentality that someone who says I'm a foreigner is treated much better than the ordinary Ugandan. I think that is absolutely discouraging. the best thing that we should do as a country is to set policies that are equitable to everyone in investment. And we say, if you're coming in with this investment, you deserve this, whether you're in Uganda or you're coming from outside Uganda, because all capital is the same. The difference is how you attract it. Now, going back to the topics we want to talk about, healthcare, and for me, I'm going to be brief and put on a few notes that I put down. They won't be very long, but if we are to talk about healthcare, I put up something. You can invest a lot in coming up with. Have you heard of something called Luboa?
Yes.
What do you know about it?
The hospital.
A hospital that is growing. Now let's go for the idea. The issue of medical tourism is a good seed to sow in Uganda. Now, if you are to attract investment, where I don't think even government must invest, is for you to identify that niche. That, listen, the data and statistics show us that this amount of Ugandans leave their country to go for specialized surgeries. For example, heart bypasses, etc. Mention all of them. And therefore, there is an opportunity. And for you to identify those people you can partner with, and then come and convince governments that all we need is a license. Because the opportunities are there. The land is there. And I don't think in that instance, you need to go to the industrial park, where my Sagala was saying. I don't think land of a hospital in an industrial park would be conducive. Now, the perception of Uganda Investment Authority, that's why you have to see that every investor must go and then find a way to get land. No, it should not be. Let's create the niche that shows that the opportunity and the market is available, and that when you bring in this level of investment, you'll have a tax holiday. And people will be able to write bankable documents here, access capital, build specialized hospitals, whether through partnerships or through self-initiative and collection. And they'll come up with capital and they'll do investments. I'm one of those people that still think there is nothing special that should be given to someone to be called an investor. The same opportunity line should be given to everyone that seeks to sow the seeds of capital in a nation. Whether it's a one-stop center. Now, assuming, in fact, the one-stop center is much more required by this young man starting with 3 million shillings to start a business, so that they do not come to me as a lawyer to help them register. Then go to another person to get a trading license. That's where you find kitu kidogo. And then when you put all those online, you just reduce the cost of doing business. Let's look at an example of our neighbors in Rwanda. There is nothing special. Or in Dubai, you're an investor, you're welcome, sir. Are you in IT? No taxes. Whether you're from UAE itself or you're from Uganda, no taxes on ICT. So you walk in and say, I'm going to invest in ICT. Then they give you a work permit for 2 years, immediately. Then they send you to the park, which is their ICT park. As simple as that. Therefore, as government, what I believe we can do is setting up the infrastructure for a level ground for everyone. Madam Kawachweka, do you want to Kachope? Sorry, Kawachope. Do you want to set up a factory producing plastic molds? Fine. You don't have to walk to anyone. Just get your license, display your capital, bring in the equipment, the land is available to you. You understand what I'm saying? So that, excuse me, the level of bureaucracy is not that much. So let me go into the summaries. Investment opportunities, for me, I focus mainly on Africa because Africa is growing, but we can take a case study from Uganda. Of course, development of health infrastructure is one of the basics where you can get and make lots of money. The leverage is that you have better health facilities here and investors in health. that you can attract through maybe talking to the people in the embassies or through your business connections here. Example, laboratories and diagnostics. All of you have been to Uganda, know how much labs charge for diagnosis. So independent people are even doing mobile laboratories. I'll come to your home, do the test, pick your samples, do the testing, and send you back the results without you necessarily moving. So such services, Pastor Sebastian, tuvewo wali kuchachi, soko tuletere kuchini.
We want to consider hospital that uses prayer and medicine.
Very good. Very good. I'm talking about health infrastructure, mainly in diagnostic centers. Now, let me give you a simple example from our example of telemedicine. If I go into the bias of technology, Uganda might not be having more than 40 radiologists. We have a few radiographers, but radiologists. People that are able, I think Rwanda has about 18, the entire East Africa has less than 200. But every other day, you have people that are coming in with different complications that require interpretation from radiologists. Now, the investment, you people that come from this world, should encourage us to do through telemedicine. And what you can come in with is if you sat down together and came up with an investment proposal of coming up with a single center for interpretation of all these images, whereby what you offer is the X-ray down there at the health center for, and with real-time through use of technology, the image is taken by a junior radiographer, and when it's taken, it's relayed to a single source center where radiologists can interpret it and send real-time messages back for diagnostics. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, this is where the land meets the backward. Technology. You're in a country that embraces technology. A company that can gather, let me tell you the advantages. How much data will you be gathering? But also how much service will you be giving in return at real time? Because you know our issue of Mulago, you walk there, get up of imaging center. Now I'm telling you the reality. Wali no mukasa. Mukasa nonga ndazizayo mwana kusomera. I'm telling you now the reality. Then you wait, mukasa atuse. Someone has been involved in an accident, you have to wait for Mukasa. Mukasa also has an emergency at school, or Mukasa's daughter has to give birth to Mukasa also has to be there. But he's the only person with the qualification to look at your image. You understand what I'm saying? And now, how many hospitals out of the 17 referrals that we have, how many can conduct these services? Less than 4. Why? The reason the others cannot, because we do not have three-phase power of three-phase. So we shall go back to the issue of energy. How everything gives each and everything a linkage. But how we can use the leverage of being in the first world to immediately create opportunities to solve problems in the third world. Therefore, we say, okay, there is this, at this, should someone move from Moroto all the way to Jinja, if they have been involved in an accident, to get a scan immediately, look at the distance, the distortion, the infections that can come up. So if the nearest health center can get a junior officer to take the images of where the tumor is or where the hard hit area, and then you relay it immediately. Because right now, because of absence of radiologists, even here, they are sending some of the images right to Australia. And interpretation is done immediately because someone has set up a company in telemedicine. And cross-references are made immediately because they have about 6 centers. So even here we can compete. You can compete. Start up something like that. Then we shall know Ugandan who became rich in Europe. The issue of pharmaceuticals, someone talked about it, the issue of manufacturing of vaccines and innovation, herbal medicine, etc. You know what it is, because everyone here is basically told to have multivitamins, eat every single thing, and that's where the world is moving. So, how many millions of people from the data you're seeing are relying on, let's say, multivitamins and boosters, etc. for survival because of the desire to live longer? Think about that. We have very many people in biochemistry. You put 1, 2, 3, 4 together, and they come up with different formula that can suit our tropical weather. What do you know? In the future, you can solve a lot of things. There are many things that disturb us in Africa, medical issues that do not necessarily disturb these people here. For example, people are grappling with the issue of gut problems, and they call it nina alusa. Probably they don't even have that. But that issue of H. pylori is one of the biggest and most teasing things in Africa. We talked about education through medicine, through telemedical conferences that you can conduct, and clinics where you get experts from this side to further train our people the other side so that they make them ready for this market. For example, the nurses here that are on an advanced stage, helping our medical practitioners the other side in nursing schools, etc., through using VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality. Health services, that we have micro health insurance. I'll give you an example for you people that are here. I'll only tackle health, but if you say you're tired, I stop there.
No.
Hope I'm not giving you overdose. Microinsurance, only a fraction of Ugandan, which is 0.3% of Ugandans, is what is insured. And those that are insured are only those that are working for either big companies or government. Now, there is a huge catchment area, so that we capture everyone in the health insurance scheme. Whether we wait for the mandatory one or not, assuming, and I gave an assumption to someone, we had 1 million people that are captured under micro health insurance, and you can create, or you can pick on big reinsurers this side, under what we call the affordable health system. I believe a boda man can pay 30,000 shillings per month to cater for, a few things for their family. But think about it. People that earn that little money in the informal sector, 30,000 per month. Let's take it to about 10 pounds per month. Okay, 50,000. 10 pounds, and you collected, let's say, from 1 million people, that's 10 million pounds. At the end of the year, it's 120 million pounds. If we're reinsured here, there's only a little fraction of that money. I can tell you, insurance is still a raw investment. It's still raw, and people have not explored it. You can see there is no insurance company closing because there's a lot of profitability in the African horizon, and mainly medical insurance. Of course, there are those that fleece and do it badly, but I think it's the future. You can also explore that, since we are talking about opportunities. Also, investments in fintechs and health technology, for example, in different devices, diagnostic kits, etc., to mention by a few. Collaboration in research through private-public partnerships, specialized health services, etc. Real estate, there are real estate gurus here, I will not talk about it. But of course it's two-way. Affordable housing is one of them, because we have a housing deficit of about 5 million houses that are affordable houses. And you can see from our recent data from our population statistics, you can see how many people are below the age of 30. And all these, if you looked out at how many are landlords, the answer will tell you that the deficit is still quite a lot. And it's a sector where government clearly is not interested, so it falls to the private sector. But that one, our comrades will talk about. Hospitality and tourism was talked about here, industry. But I'll talk about one other thing where you have to give leverage to your children, what we call intellectual property. Intellectual property is one of the things that can help you, mainly you people living here, because intellectual property rights are highly protected and secured. You understand? If you come up with a formula or a generic, people are thriving from that. I don't want to take more minutes because it's lunchtime. Renewable energy projects like solar. Of course, with our challenges, we need, Uganda is one of the best countries that are offering the best destinations for solar energy investments. Yes, we have excess power at the moment, but we also have investments in power evacuation. Power evacuation is where you invest in the infrastructure. Abali,
Yes, sir.
what is the energy infrastructure? You invest in the lines. You get a company here, it invests in the KV. You know those heavy KV lines that evacuate power from production sites? So at the end of the day, your profit is factored in at the level of distribution. You understand?
Yes.
So there are those that build, maybe Karuma will be, but then how will power be evacuated from Karuma, let's say to DRC or to South Sudan, etc. Think about that. So those are some of the investments. Investing in that infrastructure of energy and the internet. He who owns the internet infrastructure and the energy infrastructure pulls the strings and eats along. Okay? So you must note that down, that all the bigger investments are those that go for the investment in the infrastructure. Finally, the issue of performing arts, theatre and production. I think it should have exhibited itself here. I did not see any invitation for a cultural troupe to come and exchange things here. So next time, if you are invited, like crane performers or or even Diamond Nserekoko, and you don't complain. The Afri talent is here. But she came in her capacity as a journalist.
Yes.
But we should have had Afri talent here, Diamond Nserekoko in future, all of them, so that we showcase. And for that, we can attract as many people as possible, not only Ugandans, but also non-Ugandans, that East African touch of exporting our culture of theatre. Talking about content creation, it's one of the things that harness money on average. A consistent content creator based in Europe, a Ugandan, whatever their age, and mainly above 18, or not, I can give you one person that you all know. You know Tenge. From zero to, if you look at, if his talent is well managed, he can be one of the best advertisers. And you don't need to be a Tenge for the young one. What we do, the other week 2 weeks ago, I had a content creators conference where I trained young people, 126 in content creation. And these are young people, some are even still in school, and I told them the future is here. All they need is gadgets, and then what they need is what we call holder accounts. If someone is producing content in an area or a zone where payment is low, where the rates are low, then it's better. They create what we call a tripartite. They produce, someone edits, then you host. When you host it in the UK and it has more views, you'll get more than £10,000 in a month. So you'll share. Even when you enhance, you should not be worried. Yes, you don't have the time, but you can host a page. You understand? Help this person to host a page in an area or in a zone where it is more monetized. You understand what I'm saying? So here it is more monetized, whether it's through TikTok, Instagram, content for pay. Whether it is YouTube, the rates are high in the UK, United States, and the EU because of the regulations. You understand what I'm saying? So there is a lot of content. You can do medical content as a nurse, and if you want me to train you how to do it, you can do it as a nurse. You come up with medical content. You wear your uniform for as long as you're not in the restricted areas of work, and you tell people how to relate. You understand what I'm saying? You tell people how to live long. So if you're a teacher, you can also post your content on YouTube. Maybe you're a math teacher, you're a physics teacher, etc. If you're any other person in performing art, now art has been liberalized and everyone can harness from it. Then we have what we call events, hosting of events, event management. And these are specialized visas are given to people with special talent, but even event managers, because you bring in a lot of money during the summer and during the spring, you can invite people for different events and invite people because they'll be bringing in revenue to this country. You understand? Whether you started from the Ugandan part of it or you join it through East Africa, and you invite as many groups as possible to do events. Exhibition and tours, you can do it quid pro quo. You can get exhibition groups and tour groups from here to go to Uganda and even shoot movies, what we call in movie and film production. They can shoot it. People know about the gorillas in Rwanda. They don't know about gorillas in Uganda. When we have more gorillas in Uganda, because of our poor publicity. Then finally, if you want to attract investment to Uganda, you have to talk good about your country. No matter if you talk bad, then there is no one interested in coming. And to undo the bad, it will take time, I can assure you. So, we might have different religions, different political biases, and different even views about sports and everything. But whenever you're out of your country, it is very, very vital not to speak ill about it. Because then you become the first vicegerent that destroys your own country. Then you can't say, in Uganda, we only have cannibals. And then you tell someone, please come and visit Uganda. I think what guarantee do you have? I've been in this country. When you come to here through the geofencing, when you see on TikTok, what we call geofencing in technology is that whenever you move to a different destination, the algorithm of the tech platforms gives you what is in that country. If you're in TikTok, you will know. Same Facebook, Instagram, etc. Because of what we call geofencing, and then, you know, they cover up for the algorithms of those technology applications. But what am I trying to say? When you come here and start saying, Uganda, abantu bafa, buli kiro, then after that you say, Uganda is the best, please go to Uganda, who will come? Because here there are stabbings. You'll never hear that news outside here. Never. The reason is that is news meant for local consumption. So, know your news that is meant for local consumption and the news that is meant for foreigners to consume. So if you want Uganda to grow and Africa to grow, you cannot still continue to refer it to as a dark continent. Finally, be proud of yourselves. I'm happy that you said Kabalega results. Be proud of what you are. I heard recently while we they were saying they are seeing more faces that they don't understand in London. No problem. When someone finds you and says you're black, you say, for sure. Why are you offended? Then you hear someone, you're racist. How? Yeah, I'm black. If you say I'm black, what's wrong with you? Then you hear someone calling himself white. Then, you know, the other time I was in a train with a gentleman, but are you really white? He said, I'm white. I said, are you sure? Then I go to my handkerchief, is this your color? He said, no. And then I said, what is this color? He said, that's white. Then I said, are you white? He laughed, he said, come on, wait a second, I'm not white. So, the way you're not as white as linen. you painted something that is not you. But then for me, I told him I'm black. Do you have any doubt? He said, and I also told him I'm black. So I'll be proud of being what I am. And I'm from Africa, I'm from Uganda, but I love all humanity. So let's preach peace. Let's learn to work together. Let's learn to love one another. When you meet your peer, you lose nothing to say hi. If they don't respond, it's up to them. But at least for you, you've extended, a good heart. It's up to them to extend a bad heart. Let's try to help one another. In future, I know, this being the second edition, I can assure you, those who will be alive, inshallah, with God's will, I can assure you the third edition, you will not have any seat anywhere. May the good Lord bless you for God and my country. I'd like to also say, in future, I'll guarantee that we have over 100 exhibitors from my constituency. When you carry the invitations earlier, I'll guarantee them that what I saw there were the men and women with brains.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable. Before you move, I'll take a chance, if you don't mind, sir, your minutes. If we can have some photos, please, with the first table. Please, if you can have some photos with our Honorable before he goes back to the seat. Cameraman, where are you? Professional ones, please.
So what is your camera woman?
Oh God, yes. Sorry. I'm being racist now. Sorry. You do the same job, Ruth, for us. Thank you. Thank you. Please, I want you in these pictures, please, if you don't mind. Mr. Kwesiga, will you join? Thank you. Thank you. That's better. My brother, come on. You're not talking to us. No, it's Bosa talking. Thank you.
Sorry, just a minute. Bosa, can we move backwards? Because there is more space at the back here.
I'm going to add more people at the back, so let's do that.
You're covered. It's fine.
Thank you.